Jimmy here.
Hello.
Everett didn't even know
Hi, everybody.
you were going to be meeting Jimmy today, right?
No, I didn't. No.
You read my rough story, right?
I saw some of them. Yeah, I flipped through. Yeah, a couple of them. I don't know a lot. Yeah, but I know some of the people that you were involved with. I know some of the connections. I know that your story is a little different than
Oh, because I'm the youngest than the old generation.
Right.
You can say that. Not like Dice, those is the first generation.
Right.
Mine is like second and third generation.
Now, what year would you say that your career started in?
79.
Okay.
79 until 92, 93.
But that's about the gold. I mean, that's just before the gold. What you consider the golden age, right? Before the
yeah, you can say that.
Yeah,
for the triads, for the Chinatown gang, yeah, both.
And you've been telling your story. You've been going. I mean, I know very little about you, but I know that you've been on many podcasts, and by podcast people, faces that I recognize.
Yeah.
I mean, some big guys out there, right? I mean.
Yeah, I just finished an interview for the Insider. How you saw it?
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting is true crime is becoming its own genre. I mean, true crime is becoming. It was always an interesting topic, but it was kept over there.
Yeah.
It was. Let me tell you the story about that guy. But now that guy is being brought into. Because of podcasts and because of YouTube, and it's not. I'm telling you about what criminals that did, but instead I'm bringing the guy up front, and we're now doing that. And these people are almost becoming celebrities because of their criminal past, which is really kind of interesting.
He's good. He found a lot of different person to doing that.
There's so many that are doing it. And there's so many that are doing it like from a different level. Like there's some guys that are just doing like fraud and focusing on fraud and some
especially
that are doing
people,
gang.
that kind of person,
It's interesting because it's I think people were afraid at first that it would canonize, it would celebrate this, but it's celebrating a life. It's not celebrating the crime. It's celebrating the life that, was attached to it. And I think that's why people can't get enough of it.
Maybe, but
it's becoming its own art form. I think because of some of these fascinating stories, because these people are I think part of it is people like you went through it and came out the other end. It's you came through it and now you have a life that's different from that.
Yeah.
So you get to look back and say, hey, I'm here now, but let me tell you about this over here.
Yeah.
Do you see? Yeah. When people interview you, do they have pat answers? Do they know? Have they researched you?
Yeah.
Or is it just a conversation?
They did.
Okay.
They do a lot of research. Yeah.
And is that easier when they know specifics to ask about?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Are some becoming common? Is this interview becoming more like
Yes, most of the question they ask is like it's very common. It's almost every or different podcast they ask the same question.
Right.
But tell me I don't. It's not like I'm not going to tell them the whole story. Just tell them a part of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you have a goal for doing these? I mean, what do you want? What's the goal of these podcasts? What's the goal of your story? What do you want to come from it?
I just want the young generation, everybody know, this kind of life, you go regret it, okay? And try to make the young generation, better. That's a very honorable goal. I'm not going to make some money out of this. You cannot make money out of this.
I haven't watched a lot of all of Mike's podcasts, but I saw one that you were on, and there were several other people on, and I think it was a live one where people called in, or people went in, and the one thing that I do remember that I thought was amazing was someone said, do you miss it? Do you miss that life? And I think there were three of you. You were one of them that at the same time said, nope.
Yeah.
You didn't think for a second. I think it was you, Kenny, and I can't think who the third person was. But you all three said, no, we don't.
We don't miss that. Yeah.
And I think that's the cool. I think that's the amazing part is you share these stories, and you do exactly what you say. Hey, it's important to realize what happened and why it happened. But I don't want to go back there.
Yeah, nobody want to go back there. Okay, honestly, nobody want to go back.
Yeah.
That's
do you come across people that were part of that life that do miss it, that do miss the power or miss the?
Yeah. Some old guy maybe because
that was it. That was the highlight.
Yeah, some. It's only a few people they think of that, like they stay in that century. They never go move on. They always think he's still over there.
Right.
But it's different.
That was
it's
the
totally
glory
different
days.
now. Yeah. A lot of people they have those thoughts.
It's amazing. We were down in Chinatown today, and I've been down there with Peter before, but now that the book is ended, a lot of these sites are clearer.
Chinatown is totally different now.
But what's amazing to me is I think about this Chinatown battlefield as huge. You're talking, 3-4 blocks.
Yeah, it's just like a triangle.
Yeah,
like this. Triangle, yeah.
But the one thing that Peter was saying today that I thought was interesting was he said that the new immigrants from Asia are not going to that part of Chinatown. They're going to
not anymore.
So there's one generation left.
Not anymore, yeah.
So when Grandma and Grandpa go,
you've been there today, right?
Right.
You hardly see a young guys over there. It's all old people.
Is it because the rents are so high? Is it because
how I say it? I think it's because the education, now the young generation, they all got, more education, and they thought Chinatown is not the place they can grow up or make a lot of money. They have to get out of Chinatown. So when the new century come in, when their parents already moved out of Chinatown, so they don't go back to Chinatown. So only left in Chinatown is the first generation, the oldest people. Okay, because Chinatown been through all those kind of rough time. People think that's a crime place,
Right.
another crime happened. So the new immigrant will think when we got to New York, we cannot live in Chinatown. We live somewhere else.
Right.
So when someone first start this, and everybody follow.
So let me ask you a loaded question. So we've what Mike is trying to do, which is very admirable, is protect that Chinatown crime history. But then you've also got Chinatown history, period. Do you think Chinatown, Chinatown now, as what it is, has maybe another generation and that's it? Then it's going to be just tourists? Do you think it has? I mean,
I think maybe another 10 years.
Which makes it even more important to preserve it.
Because I saw the store or the restaurant close out, and the new guys who went to the space and opened another store, no more. It's not Chinese no more.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And even my parents still live in Chinatown.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. The apartment building they live in used to be, the whole building is Chinese. But now, only my parents, I think 1 or 2 apartments is Chinese. That means no Chinese people live in China because the rent is too high. The new people move in for a studio. I think the most is 600 square foot. 600 square foot studio costs you $2,200.
Right.
The bathroom is outside.
Right.
I tell you. Okay.
Right.
The bathroom is not inside the studio.
Right.
It's outside. It's no kitchen, no bathroom. It's all together. Okay. When I first moved in 1978, the bathtub is right in the middle.
Of the kitchen, of the living room?
It's right in the middle of the kitchen.
Wow.
The bathtub. But now costing $2,200 to live in the place like this.
Which is interesting because that means not only does the Chinatown criminal history, you know, had a beginning and an end. Chinatown may have a beginning and an end.
Yeah.
So it may be, like you said, if you've said another 10,
10,
15 years,
yeah, no more.
maybe it'll be, you know, like a touristy kind of thing.
Now, most people, the new immigrant they got in here, most people live in Brooklyn, 8th Avenue, or Flushing. Yep. So Brooklyn and Flushing got more Chinese people than Chinatown, the original Chinatown.
Which is great, but it doesn't have the history, you know, so it doesn't have that, so you're missing. It's too bad you couldn't pick this up and move it, you know, preserve it, you know, move it over here. And
all the history is beginning in Chinatown, that's true,
Yeah, there's so much there. And there was a couple other, you know, players that are mentioned that you have connections to, obviously. You know, Clifford Wong. He's mentioned in Peter's story. It's interesting because they met early at a cab stand kind of thing, and then you see the times that they cross after that. But yours, he was a much bigger player, obviously.
Because when I met Clifford Wong, and he's already the president of the Tung On Association.
Yep.
Before that, I think he's belonged to the Pale Street. Before that, and then him and Dice create another group. Okay, when they first started, they didn't want the group become a gangster, but afterward become a gangster. I don't know how did happen. They create another group called Chun Ying. In Pale Street, they have a group called Kun Ying. So we could create another group, Chun Ying, and move it to Division Street. It's Clifford Wong and Dice. And then, you know, who's the closest people who, you know, to them, and then bring it to the Division Street. And then they start the group in Chun Ying. But people know us as Tung On because we hang out in Tung On every day. So the cop calls Tung On Boy, everybody calls us Tung On Boy. But actually, we are not calling Tung On, we're calling Chun Ying. But nobody knew that.
Very, very interesting. Yeah, it's interesting because, you know, Peter's story is a little before yours, and so you see some of these guys where they don't have the power. You know, Dicey, he knew real early on. You know, Clifford Wong real early on. I believe he was a waiter at one time, which is when Peter actually met him.
He worked in the restaurant.
Yeah. So there's some great stories on how, you know, they first met and then connected, and then there's a pivotal scene with.
When I first time met Dice, he's the one who paying the lion dance.
Really?
Yeah, Chinese New Year. He come up to help us to, you know, pay the trump. Pay the trump. He's the one who paid the trump. And then I asked Clifford, who's this guy? And then Clifford say, oh, he's Dice. Come here. And then we introduced to Dice, and then we met each other. That time he only come out and helping us to, you know, pay the lions dance. That's it. And at that time, he don't have that kind of power yet. Yeah, but he been like walking around all over the Chinatown. Pale Street, Mars Street. He's the one who can connect everybody.
And that was and I'm glad you said that, because it was rare that he could travel in those, that one person was welcome in all those circles.
Yeah, he's the one who can walk
he was sort of he could go places that other people couldn't go to.
Yeah, and afterward he started his heroin business, and then he got more power.
Do you think that was just his ability to do that was because he wasn't fully connected to one area, or was it just his personality that allowed him, or both?
I think both. I think it's both. He has power in Hong Kong, but he don't get that kind of juice in
because his father, right? His father.
I know he's the leader of one triad in Hong Kong. When he's still in Hong Kong. Yeah, after moving here, he tried to, you know, connect more people and create his own group in Chinatown, but it's not working out. Yeah, it's not working out. So instead, he always hang out in the gambling place, and everybody know he's gambler. Okay, so he's be welcome anytime because he don't belong to each group, and he have money to gamble, so he met a lot of, you know, the old gangster. Yeah.
And he had some big losses, some big losses. So he paid a lot of people with some of those.
Always. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very interesting.
He's still in China though.
It really?
Yeah, my friend just taught me last month.
That's very
Bumped
interesting.
into him when I went to China in 2008, I think 8 or 6, and I bumped into him in Shenzhen. Nice. Still hanging out, still go to nightclub every night. I don't know how he do it.
That's amazing.
Yep, still drinking every night.
That's funny.
Yep.
What about
He's the kind of people stay in the same century. He is
Yeah.
not going out.
we were just talking about that. So he's the guy.
Yep.
He's the guy, but he just sort of kept that life with him.
Yep.
He just took
Yep.
it with him
Yep, he's
instead
the guy.
of sitting back and
Yep.
wishing for it.
Yep.
What about Uncle Benny?
Uncle Benny, I don't know him well.
Okay.
Yeah, Uncle Benny is out of
Yeah,
line.
you know what's interesting is I think what's and I don't know your story well, but I think what's interesting is Uncle Benny was a big part in Peter's. Clifford Wong was a smaller one, and I think yours is the flip side of that.
Yeah.
I think Clifford Wong, and then yeah.
I know Chan.
Yep. Okay.
He used to be a cop in Hong Kong, you know that, right? And then the corruption department, they create a corruption department.
What was that? What was the acronym for that? Was it? I'm trying to think. There was an actual.
ICAC?
Yes.
ICAC,
Okay. Yeah.
Then he went to I think he went to Philippines first, and then come to New York. And when he's in New York, he wanted to take over the mastery. You know that you heard that story?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. He wanted to take over the mastery. He opened a band in Chinatown, and he opened a funeral house in Chinatown.
Yep.
Now his wife take care of all those business, and yeah, he's a very nice guy.
Yeah. There's some stories. Yeah, in Peter's
He's
story.
almost got it, but
Yep.
afterward he got argument with some politician, and then he got to go.
Yeah.
There's no way for him to stay in here.
Yeah, and we talk about that a little bit in Peter's story. There's because there's some connection, and Peter had some jobs and some favors and that sort of thing that crossed in there that are really kind of interesting. He was kind of it's really when you look at the power, and again your story's a little different, but you look at some of the powerful people there, and they're all slightly different.
Yeah.
The Uncle Bennies of the world.
Uncle Benny is the oldest generation, and the way he won the association is like an old dynasty in China. Friend with Fuk Zhao before he got arrested, Fuk Zhao is first when he come out. He want to create a Fuk Ching, not Green Dragon. That's their inside story. And then he got out and then created a group for Green Dragon. But he always doing heroin business. He only stayed like a couple of years and then got arrested.
That seems to be the real dividing line when you look at that history. Once that heroin line was crossed, that seems to be the next generation. That sort of took it off.
When the heroin business start in Chinatown, and then the Fed start focus the Chinatown. Before that, nobody cared.
Right.
I tell you, nobody cared what happened in Chinatown.
But and I'm not condoning it, but at the time the money was obscene. I mean, the money to be made that were coming in, because there wasn't an issue getting it here. There was an issue in distribution, which the guys on the streets were happy to do, and the profit margins were like ridiculous. So I completely get but that you're absolutely right. That brought so much heat on, and that was the line.
Yeah. I can tell you because we stupid at that time.
Yeah.
We make money. We have a lot of money. We use it and show it to the public. People know us. You guys make a lot of money. That's why.
Yep.
You got hit.
Because it's never going to end.
Yeah.
And there's more coming.
With change the time. Like now, if I make a lot of money, I got hired.
Right.
Nobody knew it. Right.
You just thought the party was never going to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But before, nobody think that way. Yeah. Everybody got money. Buy a nice car. go Atlantic City gambles, bringing a suitcase of cash. I dare you cannot see it in casino no more.
Right.
Before, that's the coming thing, almost every day. Okay, Chinese people bring a suitcase, all cash, gambling, always. I saw a lot of time. But now, no, not anymore.
It's very interesting.
I can tell you that, like, even though that's the rough time, right? But the economy in Chinatown is very, very good at that time. You want to get like that, like I say like 3, 4 o'clock, okay, in the morning.
Right.
You want to get like that, you have to stand in the night and wait for the table. That's how busy it is.
Really?
Because people make money. A lot of gambling houses open, and people gamble. When people gamble, they don't thought any, like, what time is it? They don't think of time.
But was it in New York at that time? I mean, there were other illegal gambling houses, obviously, but were there any as focused as Chinatown? I mean, could you go to 5 or 6 in a row in Brooklyn or Queens? Or was Chinatown, did Chinatown have the...
Chinatown is the heart.
Okay.
Okay, and I can say that with a casino, you know, their customer without Chinese,
Right.
that casino will be closed out. That's how bad it is, Chinese people gambling.
Right. Right.
Before I used to work in the gambling house when I was still a kid, and I tried 3 days and night, never sleep, working over there. A lot of people.
That would never, it just kept churning.
Never stop. Yeah.
Wow.
3 days, and then like me and my couple street brother, and then sit on the couch, and we cannot stand it no more. We sleep in the couch, like this, sitting here. We all slept.
But the money's coming in for 3
The
solid
money
days.
still coming in.
Huh.
Okay, for 3 days. That time I was like 16 years old. I make over 10 grand for 3 days.
Really?
Yeah, because people, like, you want the, like, this hand you want, they are not paying like 100, 200. They're paying like at least 1,000, 2,000. They want one hand, they give you 100 instantly. Okay, you stand, like, you know this guy is winning. I stand behind him, and then he won. Each time he won, he handed me 100. So I just stand there and collect money for 3 days. Okay, it's over 10 grand.
But here's the other thing. So let's say at 16, you said, "Hey, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm gonna go work in a hardware store." You just made 10 grand in 3 days.
That's right. That's
How
right.
do you? That's hard to.
You don't want to quit.
Right.
Yeah, you don't want to quit at that time.
And as far as money you made, that was probably the small end of it. I'm sure that it got bigger and bigger.
Yeah, after got bigger and bigger. Yeah. And just like what I said before, when I first started, nobody cared. The Fed don't care, the cop don't care, whatever you guys did, okay, they don't care. So we are like an Egypt business. The gambling house every day is open, the front door's open, you just walk in. It's like business. Do it like business. As long as no trouble over there, we make sure like no other good people come and try to make trouble. That's it. You just make sure the place is safe, and then you make money.
Just a big cash register. Yeah.
Chinese people like gamble. Even though a waiter, a waitress, okay, they only make like what, $100 a day, the most. By that time, it's not even 100. I think it's like $70, $80. They saving all those money and go into the gambling house, backing all the money. Always. Always. So a lot of things happen in the gambling house. You know, people lose a lot of money. People suicide. A lot of these things happen, and some even women. Okay, not only men, even women. The woman lose all her money. Try to sell his daughter. Okay, I saw this kind of thing happen.
Yeah.
You won't even believe it.
Yeah, because you think about just, hey, the money is churning, but you forget about that emotional human part.
Yeah.
You're selling your child. You know, there's nothing lower than that. I mean, that's wow.
I know a guy who's gambling non-stop, like 2 days. He lose the whole building, Canal Street. He got a building, Canal Street. He lose the whole building.
Wow. See, and that's another. We were talking, you know, before about, you know, you've got this Chinatown history, and you've got all these events, but the story behind like that, that's not told.
That's a side story. Yeah.
That's not told. I mean, the fact that you go, okay, there was illegal gambling, and it was really popular, but a man, you know, got so indebted he tried to sell his child. A man lost his building.
Yeah.
Those are the stories that are worth powerful.